Hi guys, Fabio Palvelli here. I'm a designer and every week on this channel I share a little bit of my life on video as well as tips and tricks on how to be a better designer and a better visualizer. So if this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. So this is a video that was inspired by one of your requests. Somebody asked me to suggest some books on the topic of communication. You see, I really believe that communication is the key when it comes to building good relationships with your clients. In fact, I think that especially in the field of architectural visualization, images are simply the product of a business relationship that you have with your client from the moment that the client first approaches you. Yes, you do need to be able to create images or videos or VR solutions of really high quality, but I think even more important, you have to fulfill your client's needs and solve your client's problems in the process. And you do that by listening, understanding, analyzing, testing, and executing. I know that some designers love to be a lot more pragmatic when talking to their customers. I know that they don't like to necessarily waste time and they rather be a lot more direct when having a business conversation. Usually these guys are the ones who run offices that focus more on large-scale production other than working on more tailor-made specific visual solutions. However, do understand that especially in the field of design, pragmatism favors very often a conversation about facts, whilst I believe that designers should appeal to emotions when talking to a client. And trust me, this comes from a guy that used to be a lot more pragmatic about everything really, design mainly. If you appeal to facts, your clients will compare your products and your services to the ones of others. They will look at your renderings and they will say, well, you know, I can get this image from another guy for $500. Why should I pay you $1,000? You're too expensive. Instead, if you appeal to emotions and if you're able to make your client feel different and better about you and about the work that you can produce, you will appeal to their emotions. And that is something that to a certain extent will make you a lot more valuable to them. This is why communication is the key, always. Anyway, I do have 5 books that I can recommend that will give you valuable insights as on how to manage the conversation with your clients. Now, I'm sure that there are probably more and better books out there. I feel that I can only share my opinion on what I have read and what I have tested myself. Also, bear in mind that when I talk about reading a book, I don't always mean the whole book. A good thing about these books on business, communication, and personal growth is that they are broken in single, almost say, standalone chapters that allow you to skip from a page to another and just use what you think it's suitable to you or what you think you need. So the first book that I would recommend is This is Marketing by Seth Godin. Now, no need to introduce Seth, he's a master in his field. This book is about marketing, but make no confusion, not the kind of marketing associated with advertising, but rather marketing as the profession of market and sell something. The ability to define problems and finding a solution to these problems. To me, this book is a pillar when it comes to understanding the basics of communication, although it is not a communication book per se. The second book that I would recommend is Getting to Yes by Roger Fisher and William Ury. This book touches on a lot of negotiation principles and techniques, and it teaches you how to respond to objections. And surprisingly, it talks a lot about value. It touches on the topic of the BATNA. The BATNA is the best alternative to the negotiated agreement. Very important to understand what you're leaving on the table when working with clients. So in order for you to negotiate, it is almost a given that you understand the value that you're able to produce. The third book is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Nigel, I never know. Anyway, this book is about the science, if you like. I think that using science is an an overkill in this case. But anyway, it sounds good, so I'm gonna go with science. So this book is about the science of understanding the why behind our business intentions. If you read This Is Marketing, you will realize that Seth Godin must have had a huge impact on the author of this book, as they both agree that in order for you to create value, you need to first find a problem to solve. Now, this book also talks about leadership, which is something that I really, really like. It touches on communication, also with like co-workers. The only downside is that this book, unlike the others, you can't really skip from a chapter to another. You need to read the whole thing, and I still have to finish it myself, but so far it's a great book and I'm enjoying it a lot. The fourth and fifth book are these two: Never Split the Difference by Voss, and the other one is the communication book by Michael Krogerus and Roman Tschappeler. Now, this book is about some of the most hardcore negotiation techniques. Some people might think that this is a book for used cars dealers. It teaches you about reality bending techniques as well as how to use the F word. This other book instead is a lot lighter to read. It's 44 different chapters, still very valuable. It includes different tips for different situations. So it's not only about communication with clients, but also with colleagues, or when you actually buy a service from somebody. So it kind of like forces you to flip the role. These are 5 books that you can start reading that can start to enrich your skills when it comes to communicating, but also understanding the why you should be communicating in a certain way, which I think it's even more important, because a lot of people make the mistake to go into business just because they're able to, say, produce an image, but they don't understand what that image does for the client. So, you know, learning more about the communication will allow you to also understand why you're making those images. Do you have any book that you would recommend me to read? I really like to own books and I like to flip through them whenever I have some time free. Please leave a comment, let me know. I usually buy these books, and then when it comes to reading them, I usually put them in my bathroom next to the toilet, and depending on what I ate the night before, then in the morning sometimes I can read the whole thing in one go. I feared that I might have shared a little bit too much. As always, it's my pleasure to talk to you guys. See you guys next time.